Here we go.
You want me to record?
In a minute.
This is Felt Recoil.
Welcome back to the Felt Recoil podcast. Or welcome for the first time. I don't know you. But let's get to know each other. My name is Chris, and across from me is...
Patrick.
Doing all right this week, Patrick?
I can't complain.
You look good in your Dragonfly polo.
I do what I can.
We didn't coordinate, but we're kind of dressed alike.
It's not the first time.
It's an interesting thing. I will say this. If you're into guns at all, and that's why you're here, thanks for being here. Also, thanks for downloading. Thanks for finding us on YouTube and subscribing to the channel and sharing the videos. And thanks to you for coming to all of our social media channels, Facebook, etc., and joining the conversation there. We're pretty active on Facebook, probably more than anything else. So if you're looking at, for us on the socials, find us on Facebook. Got a lot to get to this week. We're gonna talk obviously about the Manchester attack. We're gonna talk about me needing to defend my legacy. We have the SIG X5 in hand. We'll get to that in just a minute. The psychosis of stupid. That's gonna be a good one. What do eBay, UPS, and Katy Perry all have in common? They're stupid. We'll get to that in just a minute. And if we have enough time, I just want to give props to Tack Soup. I just want to tell Tack Soup how much we love them. I love Tack Soup. Love you, love you, love you. We'll get to that as best we can. But first, let's talk about this week's charity of choice. This is one that, full disclosure, I just want you to know that I am involved with this organization. I volunteer for them. I don't make any money from them. They actually take money out of my bank account every month, but I'm happy to do that. I love doing that because these are people I wish I was. Operation Underground Railroad. You can find information on them at ourrescue.org. Since being founded in December of 2013, they've gathered the world's experts in extraction operations and anti-child trafficking efforts, and they are working to bring an end to child slavery around the world. Really, I feel like they're being a little humble there. They're working to bring an end to modern-day slavery for everyone, If you haven't done it yet, get on Google now and look up the abolitionists. Give them $10 for the digital download of their movie. It will blow your mind. You're going to see a woman and her daughter that run an orphanage and sell children. And you're going to see Tim and the team go in and take her down. You're going to see men in third world countries that go out to the beach and look for tourists and try and sell them underage girls. And I'm not, listen, this, you can say what you want, but we're talking 12, 13, and 14-year-old children being sold for sex. And Tim Ballard and his team at Operation Underground Railroad go into these places. They pose as tourists looking for this kind of perversity, and then they work with local authorities. Tim says they always go in through the front door. They work with the people that can put these people away for a very, very long time. But importantly, it doesn't end there. They take the kids, and then they put them into facilities that will help them grow and mature afterward. They don't just break up the ring and then say best of luck to you. They take care of the kids afterwards, and grown adults too. So please visit ourrescue.org. Consider making a donation. Better yet, maybe consider signing up. They'll withdraw it from your bank account every month. And remember, either the government decides how your money gets spent, or you can, because this is a tax write-off, okay? Every year, my wife and I are able to claim a certain amount that we give to Operation Underground Railroad, and the government looks at it as, well, that amount is taxes already paid. Is there a better reason to do it? Put your thumb in the eye of the government and help children around the world? I say there's not. So please visit ourrescue.org. You can also visit feltrecoilshow.com. We have all the information there as well. All right. Now, if I may,
Please.
I need for a moment to defend my legacy. Springfield Armory style. Despite the fact that we all read on the...
Did you buy a hammer?
We all read, yeah. I don't know what to do with it. My 4-year-old was excited. I was like, oh, there's a hammer.
Did you paint yourself gray and call yourself the new Chris?
I did. I said, honey, I'm a new man. And I was in blackface, and my wife was angry for many, many reasons. Anyway...
Oh, this just went a whole different way.
Right? Hey, you brought it up.
I don't think I brought up blackface.
I did. I wouldn't have thought of it had you not said it, though. That's the point.
Oh.
See, if you say something and it leads me to think of something inappropriate, it's your fault. Something like that.
Screwed.
Here's the thing. So my son is 4 years old. He'll be 5 in September, and he's a great kid. And well, I have 2 sons, just to be clear here. But my oldest is going to be 5 soon. And on Friday, he asked me, Thursday or Friday of last week, he asks me to take the training wheels off of his bike. He's got a little Thomas the Tank Engine bike, and he pedals around on it. And he said, Dad, let's take these back wheels off. So we did. And then we spent, 15, 20 minutes in the driveway, and we were kind of going up and down, and he got bored with it, and he was doing really good. We were getting to a point where I could let go, and he was pedaling a little bit. Well, then the next day, we did the exact same thing, 15, 20 minutes, half hour max, and he's pedaling a little bit, and I'm letting go, and then he's really, I felt like, man, he's getting the hang of this pretty quick. So then I come home Monday night from work, and my wife is like, you're not going to believe this. He's just suddenly riding his bike on his own, up and down the driveway. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. She's like, can you believe it? He essentially taught himself to ride his bike. I was like, wait a second. I helped a little bit here. Like, I had something to do with this. She's like, yeah, no, I don't think so. But he's pretty smart. He does, to his credit, he catches on to things super, super fast.
Did Carmen think that
most kids
took
are
the
like
training
that.
wheels off himself?
I don't know how I'll tell you this. Given this kid's history, that would not surprise anybody. This is a kid that we have a tree in the backyard that's right next to our fence. There's 2 fences. There's like a standard chain link fence, and then we have our privacy fence, and they meet in a corner, and right in that corner is a tree, and there are boards coming and going from every angle of that tree, and he literally will walk from the tree to the fence and be like hanging on the fence, and he's like, I made a bridge. So he does it, and to his credit again, he made his bridge with a dog leash he found in the house, and he snuck it outside and tied it around one end of the board to support that end, and then wedged the board against the fence, and he's out there walking on his bridge. So
Handyman skills skipped a generation, is what you're telling me.
it absolutely did. Anything that kid knows about building or fixing came from my dad, not from his, because his dad is absolutely 100% illiterate when it comes to handyman stuff. You've seen it.
Yeah, we've met.
All right, so I just had to get that on the record in case he ever grows up and he's like, my dad never loved me. He spent his Wednesday nights recording this podcast, and then he listens to it. He's like, he did. All right. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting thing. All right.
Can't wait to put this in the time capsule.
Yeah, well, there it is. Let's talk about the SIG X5. I don't think this is on the store shelves yet, but we got our hands on the SIG X5. Look at this thing. Here's a quick rundown. 5-inch barrel. Okay, it's part of the P320 line. The reason I'm telling you about it here is by Sunday afternoon, we'll have a full review of this thing up. We're going to take it out on Saturday and shoot it, review it, and we'll make a little movie about it. But our friends at SIG dropped it off to us and said, why don't you keep this for a couple weeks, put some rounds through it, and then tell us what you think. And so that's what we're doing. And we've already shot it a good bit. I think we've probably put 200 or 300 rounds through it in the last few days. I love this gun. I love it, love it, love it. Looking forward to bringing you the whole review, but I'll give you the rundown that I think is worth knowing. First of all, out of the box, it's competition ready. Okay, so your slide is cut in 3 different places up top. You have a fiber optic front sight, and then you have a rear sight plate. Now, the thing about that is this isn't just an adjustable rear sight, okay? These are Dawson sights, and Dawson made a plate for SIG that the entire rear sight is attached to. You knock that plate off, and it's optics ready for SIG's Romeo 1. It's also got a flared magwell already attached, and there's a 4-ounce weight inside of the pistol grip that's going to even out the weight from your bull barrel that's taking up 5 inches there at the front. Anyway, a flat profile trigger. It's going to be a lot of fun. But look for our video. Find us on YouTube. Just search out Felt Recoil Show. But we did put several. I mean, personally, I've probably put at least 200 rounds through this in the last 3 days since we got it, just because I've really, really enjoyed it. So, as you know, we work inside of a gun store, and it happens to have a gun range. And so my lunch breaks have been spent largely out there. PMag, you got a chance to do this. Initial impressions on it.
I like it. It's definitely an improvement over the 320.
Yes, sir.
So the bore axis is a little lower, and that one actually comes with a flat face trigger, so it's a little bit more intuitive, and really comfortable in the hand. Slide is very light, which I like a lot. And one thing that I don't remember who pointed it out, but somebody said to me, if you're shooting in any sort of competition and you're shooting in a factory class, this would be a pretty souped up gun for a factory class gun, because that's literally how it comes from the factory.
Yeah, it is super nice, super nice. We're going to get out, like I said, on Saturday. Find us on YouTube, Felt Recoil Shell, and we'll post a full video for it. I will tell you this. I think I like the grip the most on this more than anything, and looking forward to showing that to you. But it's everything. If you sent your standard pistol off to have, most Glock owners are sending their pistols off to have those ridges kind of filed down and then stippled over, and really more of a straight angle. I've kind of already done this at SIG for you. In full disclosure, there's a couple of things worth mentioning here. First of all, we get offered stuff to review a lot, make a video about, whatever the case may be. If we don't like it, we're not going to make a video on it, because making a video takes effort and time. And so there's no point in making a video about something that we shoot and we go, man, that was stupid. Like, who would want that? Okay. So there's kind of a litmus test to taking a day to go shoot something, film it, and then take the post-production time. I mean, it's not, like everybody else in the world, you got a life to live, and then you got your things you do. And so if we put a video on YouTube, it's because we think it's worth your time, is the point I'm making here. It's not just because we want to get clicks or we want you to, hey, please come look at this. Everything is measured. There's stuff we looked at the NRA that was, oh, okay, that's cool, but we didn't stop to make a video about it because it just didn't seem worth the time.
A lot of stuff.
Tons of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff there, and there's a lot of cool stuff there. Mm-hmm. I don't know that it's... I mean, there's already guys out there talking about certain things. So you can find that information anywhere.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about the things that we're more passionate about, and I think to add to your point, SIG nor anybody else we've done a video about, or maybe we'll do a video about, is actually paying us to do it.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, we had a guy come up to us at the NRA convention, and he was like, how much are you guys getting paid by these guys to talk about their stuff?
Yeah. Which was funny.
And I was like, what? Wait, people do that? Where do we get the check?
Yeah, man, send it this way. That was kind of the opposite of the other guy. We had another guy come up and kind of rudely point out, well, you'll never make any money. Hope you enjoy yourself. It's like, we're not trying to make any money. We're trying to have a good time here. But my point is, if you find something on our YouTube page, the whole point is for us to give you things that you enjoy, okay? So hopefully you'll notice that we don't push content on you every week that's pointless. We want it to be fun and something worth your time, okay? Time's valuable.
We'll take suggestions.
Hey,
so you can always email us, Patrick at feltrecoilshow.com or Chris at feltrecoilshow.com. And if your idea sucks, we'll just go ahead and tell you.
Yeah, we'll tell you. It won't make the cut. That's why this show is all my ideas. All mine.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about the just, I don't know what to call it outside of the psychosis of stupid. Look, we've had this attack in Manchester. It affects all of us. Katy Perry and Elvis Duran are morons collectively.
Elvis who?
Exactly. The radio host that she made her comments to about, we just need to open the borders. No borders, what did she say? No boundaries, no borders, hugs and kisses and Care Bears, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And then he goes,
she probably has a coexist tattoo.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, we need to coexist and we need to love each other. And, it's a funny thing about that coexist bumper sticker. It's the same thing, I would point out to Katie is there's only one portion of that doesn't agree with you. Everybody else in that is willing to live together and get along. But the Islamists of the world have continually throughout history
maybe those bumper
refused.
Stickers are a plea to the Islamists. Like, hey, everybody else is doing it. You guys think you could just pitch in? Cool.
I'll tell you, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to be able to believe that was the case.
It's just wishful thinking.
I think you're I think you're gonna find you're wrong.
It's happened once before.
Because here's the thing. The idea here is, well, everybody just needs to get along. And everyone around you is going, yeah, I mean, we're ready to get along. Who's not getting along? Well, you guys are saying mean things about the Muslims, and the Muslims blow people up, and it's just not, it's not the way to handle things, and you need to be more understanding. And it's like, well, how much more can we do? It's 2001, we got attacked, okay? We've had 16 years now of being told to calm down, being told to be understanding, being told to coexist. And I think that's time enough to say, you know what, maybe there's a bigger problem here, and the problem's not us. I was going to play you the Katy Perry audio, by the way. It's been pulled down. She doesn't
pulled
want
down
that
from
in.
everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. I just clicked the 3 sources I had. It's down everywhere. All right, but so here's the thing. Katy Perry essentially said that we need to coexist, no borders, no boundaries. She was devastated. She's
How much you want to bet she lives in a
brokenhearted.
gated community?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. And so here, okay, let's get to that. Here's the quote. I just want to say that this is Katy Perry talking to Elvis Duran. I just want to say that I love all of you out there, and I just know that some of our fan bases kind of go both ways. Ari's fans are my fans, and my fans are Ari's fans. We're just all loving on each other, and we should just stay loving on each other. Okay. I think the greatest thing we can do now is unite as people, as fan bases, all of it. Whatever we say behind people's backs, the internet can be a little ruthless as far as fan bases go. But I think that the greatest thing we can do is just unite and love on each other. No barriers, no borders. We all just need to coexist. So obviously this is very narcissistic because she made it about herself and about Ariana Grande's fans and how, yeah, our fans, they might not like one or the other, but some of them, it's a cross section. And so I have to feel bad for her fans. They have to feel bad for me. No borders, no boundaries. Let's just love on each other. And coexist. And then this guy, Elvis Duran, who's the radio host, goes, well, as much bad as has come out of this, it's nice to see all of this good coming out of it as well. So I know that he's just a top 40 guy who's well into his 50s and trying to stay relevant and wants to sound smart. But what the hell are you talking about? What good has come of 9, 10, and 12-year-old girls being blown to bits in Manchester at an Ariana Grande concert? The only good that can come of it is if Donald Trump decides, you know what? Suck it. And he bombs to hell and oblivion and back again, like we've said before. Anybody who shows any sympathy for these people. And let's talk a little bit about this open borders idea Katy Perry has. This is a family of people who fled Libya because of Gaddafi, supposedly. Put all of that in quotes. They go to Manchester and set up shop for a few years. Obama basically covertly has Gaddafi killed and thrown out and then abandons ship in Libya. And the family, minus the bomber, returns to Libya. Now, just so you know, the entire family has been arrested. So the people who hated Gaddafi just like Obama did still hate us just like Obama does.
And I heard on the way over here that the father says he was a good Muslim boy that would never do anything like that because they don't practice or preach that sort of behavior.
Who? Mom and dad don't?
Dad says they don't. However, brother says, who has also been arrested, that he knew of the entire plot, knew everything about it, and is basically just squealing. Pardon the pun.
I see what you did there. Because the younger brother's probably actually worried that he's going to get some sort of blame in this, that people are going to believe he believes what the family believes. Who doesn't teach the kid? Like, okay, the dad says he's a good Muslim kid. This isn't something they taught in their house. Aren't they Muslims?
Well, I also heard in another article from this morning that his father was affiliated with Al Qaeda somehow.
What? Like Clockboy?
Potentially.
Are you talking about Clockboy and his dad's tie to the Muslim Brotherhood? Listen, when the sacred months have passed, when it's not Ramadan, slay the idolaters wherever you find them, take them captive, besiege them, lie in wait for them in every ambush, kill them. That's the Quran, Surah 9, verse 5. Chapter 9, verse 5, if you will. That's straight out of the Quran. There's no out of context here.
I feel like you could loosely interpret that in many different ways.
Yeah, well, maybe they meant, like idolaters, like people that didn't believe in that's true. Okay. This kid that blew himself up, for the record, this kid that killed all the unbelievers around him did nothing more than what the Prophet Muhammad would have had him do. You give people a chance to repent, and when they refuse to repent, you kill them. That is the tenet of Islam, through and through. But the bigger point here is, let's just say you disagree with me on Islam. You can't disagree on the open borders concept of Katy Perry. Well, let's just have open borders and everybody get along, hug each other, and give each other, butterfly kisses on their cheeks. It's just not going to work out. Well, I think that's what the UK just tried to do.
Yeah, England has proved that doesn't work.
It will not work. And what did the mayor of London say? What did Mayor Khan say about terrorist attacks?
Peace be upon him.
Right. What did he say about terror attacks recently?
He said aloha snack bar.
And that they're part and parcel for living in a big city. So the people of Manchester just have to shrug it off. And they have to understand that, okay, as Tommy Robinson will point out, okay, sure, 50,000 Muslims downloaded an Al-Qaeda manual for how to blow people up last year alone. Sure, 50,000 European...
In London.
In London, yes. 50,000 Muslim Londoners downloaded a violent manual on how to kill people that disagree with you. But hey, it's a religion of peace, and we can't talk about it. But attacks are part and parcel for living in a big city. Because he's right, by the way. Attacks are part and parcel of living in big cities these days because we have so blindly accepted an ideology that teaches its people to kill other people, and then we've invited them into our neighborhoods. We've invited them in.
The essence of complacency.
Stupidity. The world is Chamberlain. I don't think anybody could say they've ever seen anything like it except Winston Churchill when he was going, I'm telling you, Hitler is a bad dude, and he's killing millions of people, and we need to do something about it. And Neville's all like, listen to this guy. I've been drinking again. He's been drinking again. What a racist. What a racist, because Hitler's a white guy. Here we are. Soldiers deployed in the streets of Britain today. All right? This is from the Telegraph. Up to 5,000 soldiers deployed on the streets of the UK amid fears that the Manchester suicide bomber had accomplices preparing further attacks. For the first time in 10 years, the Prime Minister says the terror threat has been raised to the highest level possible. Too little, too late. From severe to critical after the attack. Here's what we need to do here, by the way. Let's just assume, because I don't know, do you have any idea what the levels of terror response are?
When we had that, it was color-coded,
right?
Which was really stupid back then.
So let's just assume, okay, I'm making this up, but let's just assume that there's colors, okay? There's green, everything's good, no worries. And then let's just say there's like a teal, right? And teal is, there might be a problem here. And then yellow is, we definitely think there might be a problem, pay attention. And then red is as high as it gets. And that's where we are now all of a sudden. Well, here's what the UK needs to do. You got to get rid of red, okay? And go find out where you were the night the bomb exploded. Were you on teal? Because now teal is your new red. Because whatever the zeitgeist was of your community at that time, whatever people were feeling, whatever the chatter was on the black web of Islamists, whatever that was, now becomes your red level. So there's no more give and take. How do you raise the threat level after an attack? That is nonsense. It's nonsense. And now you've got 5,000 soldiers deploying to the streets of Britain because, hey, highest level possible now. A 23-year-old man arrested in Manchester, by the way, 23 years old, blew himself up and killed 22 innocent people. In the Philippines, ISIS-linked gunmen are battling troops in the streets of a southern Philippine city. Out of Manila from Fox News, Philippine troops are battling heavily armed militants backing the Islamic State group in a southern city as months of sporadic fighting in the countryside shifted alarmingly into urban areas. Regional military spokesman, a name I can't pronounce, said 5 government personnel were wounded in the clash with at least 15 fighters from a Muslim rebel group called Maut in the village of Basak, something blah, 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 a bustling, predominantly Muslim city in Lanao de Sur province. A bustling, predominantly Muslim city. What more do you... This isn't a lone wolf. This isn't a handful of people giving a big religion a bad
Muslim
name.
cities allowed to bustle? Or do they have to be covered?
Not with music. No, you can bustle under the burqa. It's actually that's a very popular Muslim TV show. Bustling under the burqa. It's kind of like
that was like a rap song.
No, it's like 50 Shades of Grey for Muslims. Bustling under the burqa. Look it up.
I bet that one's a slow.
It's a thriller.
Mover.
It's a thriller.
I just looked up what the.
He caressed her nose from outside the veil, only to be taken back. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I just looked up the threat levels.
All right, tell
in
me.
The UK. They're so British, it's not even funny. Starts with low.
Is it 1 tooth, 2 tooth, 3 tooth?
Sort of. Low, and then it gives the definition. Low means the attack is, or an attack is unlikely.
Okay.
Moderate means an attack is possible, but not likely. Substantial means an attack is a strong possibility. Severe means an attack is highly likely. And critical means an attack is expected imminently.
And they're on critical. So the question is, what were they on?
Critical isn't even an option.
What was the last one you just said? I'm sorry.
Critical, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. So they're on critical now, right? They raised it to critical. It's the first time ever, I think, or first time in 10 years, right? Something like that.
Probably.
When were the tubes bombed over there?
I was going to say the
2007, I think.
Bus bombings
right?
and the tubes.
Yeah, I think it was 2007. So here's my point, right? Now we're raising it to critical after an attack. We have to find out whatever it was. What was the threat level on the night of the bombing? And that is your new, this is where we take action. That's your new barometer. Yeah. If it gets back to here, where we initially, actually, a few days ago, didn't think it was going to be a problem, but in fact, 22 people have been killed. Well, now we know that this much chatter and this means something's more likely to come. So what they're doing is the government is acting like they can protect you. The government is acting like they're in control.
What do these do? What do they do when we were using it here? Because we don't use it anymore. When's the last time you heard anything about the terror threat level in the U.S.?
Probably the day before George W. Bush left office, because after that it became Barack Obama telling me why everything was my fault.
Fair enough.
There might be an Islamic jihadist attack, but you need to understand it's because of you. So that's kind of what I got for 8 years from that fella.
Fair enough.
I'm so glad he's gone.
We went to the Outer Banks one time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's a big sign when you get, there's one of the islands you have to take a ferry to. I don't remember which one it was off the top of my head, but when you get off, there's a big metal sign, and it has like the terror threat levels that you can tell it's from like December 2001.
Right.
And it's been sitting there ever since, just rotting in the sun. And I remember seeing that and thinking, oh yeah, I remember those days. It doesn't modify anyone's behavior. Like, who cares?
You ever go to a tire store and get your tires done, and like even if you're just getting them rotated, and they have that little chart inside where the guy goes, "Okay, so I just want to show you what your tread's all about. Right here, you're okay to drive. Right here." That's what that reminds me of. Like, there's some dude out there, and he's like, "All right, folks, just want to show you what the terror threat's like today. See, right here, you're right here. So you're probably safe to swim, but I wouldn't swim near that lady with the burqa and the guy with the turban. I would swim down this direction. Let's not forget the beaches of Tunisia. Okay, remember, got the AK, started mowing people down. Let's just stay on this side. If you white folks will stay on this side, we can keep the threat level down to blue." Okay, swim over past the pier. We're going to go orange. We're going to go orange fast. I can't promise you any safety, okay?
By the way, there's sharks.
Yeah. So stupid. So we have now 5,000 British troops in the streets patrolling because they think a second attack is imminent following the Manchester bombing. You have Islamists in the Philippines literally taking the fight to the street, battling with the Filipino army. You have Katy Perry saying, you know what, just open the borders, cuddle everybody. And Elvis Duran says, that's a great idea. So much good coming out of this. By the way, the only thing I can think Elvis Duran was trying to say there is, the good is that Ariana Grande fans and Katy Perry fans are finally getting along. And if that's all that guy has going for him, just hang it up. Just hang it up. You're done. You have reached the most insignificant status you can ever possibly reach. You're toast. Your life is pointless. Stop. Go find something worth doing.
If he's a 50-year-old top 40 guy, his life's already over.
I was watching the video, and he looks like, remember that obnoxious dude that was on the Sirius XM commercials where he's got gray hair that's falling out, but he's still willing to put some product in it and spike it up and wear a leather jacket? Who are you in life? Yeah, who are you right now? I was watching U2 on the... Is it still called The Tonight Show? What's Jimmy Fallon's show? It's The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, right? All right. So I'm watching the clip today of U2 on there, and they had nice things to say. They seem like nice guys. But the whole time I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, who do you guys think you are? Like, you would be so out of place and so awkward in real life because you would walk in and I'd go, that guy's got to be 60. Why has he got both ears pierced and gel in his hair? What a redneck weirdo. Anybody else, that would be my impression of them.
They're the guys that are so self-righteous they go by one name. That's
Bono. Now, Bono, I give a little bit of leeway to because I've heard he actually has like a disease in his eyes, and that's why he wears those lightly tinted sunglasses at all times. It's because it actually irritates his eyes so much. All the bright lights he's under as a habit. That's why he wears his glasses. So
why are the rest of them douchebags?
Edge. I couldn't remember the guitarist's name today while I was watching it, and he's all like, "Oh yeah,
no, he's The Edge."
Oh, is it The Edge?
I think it's The Edge.
What a weirdo. I had to think to myself though, how old are you when you retire the beanie? Like, I get that there's no hair under there, but you've been wearing a beanie for 30 years.
Remember we had a conversation one time at work about the most overrated bands of all time.
I do.
And they were in my top 5. There's no love lost for those guys.
Hardcore. See, Metallica's number 1 for me because of Lars. I think he's an idiot, and so I just want to put him on the list because I can't stand that guy. I would
because you love
him.
Napster.
Oh my gosh. But he's such a jerk. He's just so rude when you watch him. He's just so full of himself. When the Napster dude, by the way, back when MTV was actually cool and did edgy things, do you remember the Napster guy coming out in a Metallica t-shirt to present an award? That was awesome. Where were we at?
Terror threat levels.
My point is, you're looking at Katy Perry talking to this Elvis Duran fella, and you think to yourself, I'm sure Elvis Duran's probably a nice guy. He probably does good things in his free time. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who he is. I don't know much about him.
I've never even heard that name until you said it just a little while ago.
But when you're in this awkward position, because if I'm Elvis Duran and I'm sitting there and Katy Perry's going, yeah, don't you think we should just open the borders? I'm going to go, no, actually, I think that's a terrible idea. And she's going, we should just love each other. I'd be like, yeah, tell that to the Muslims. Like, Katy, shut your pie hole. Head on over to Saudi Arabia or the United... Here's the thing, Katy. Let's do a quick Google search here. I want to see something here. Katy Perry vacation. Okay, all right. Vacation in UAE. Let's just see if Katy Perry's ever vacationed. Oh, she did. Look at this. Man, there's good news and there's bad news, Katy Perry fans. Good news is Katy Perry is playing a concert in Dubai. Invite only. Katy will be performing at the Dubai Air Show on the 10th of November. This is from 2015. Wow. That's great. That's great. Hey, by the way, did you know it's a capital offense punishable by death to be a homosexual in the United Arab Emirates? That's where Dubai is, by the way, Katy. Did you know that, Katy? Katy, when you cash that check, did you understand that it was illegal to enter Dubai if you were a Jew that had been born in Israel? Did you know that, Katy? Did you know that?
You
That's
think
crazy.
She's saying her "I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It" song?
No, of course not. It was invite only. I would bet money she wore a headscarf the entire time to appease those people, and she covered up big time. And I will tell you something. As much grief as I'll ever give Donald Trump, thank you for stepping off that plane in Saudi Arabia this week. No headscarf, nothing. Shake my wife's hand. Shake it. Shake my wife's hand. And Melania's all there looking classy. not being bothered a bit by the fact that she's not wearing the headscarf. Nancy Pelosi wore the headscarf. Hillary Clinton wears the headscarf. Every time these people go to these, what's the word I'm looking for? Overbearing, belligerent countries where women and minorities and homosexuals are violently oppressed, where the free press does not exist, where the freedom of speech does not exist, where the right to worship your God in the way you see fit does not exist. They go over there and they cower before them like the cowards they are, and they subjugate themselves to these people with this barbaric and archaic ideology, and then we act like, good on you, Katy Perry, open borders. No, Katy Perry cashed a check from people who execute homosexuals, and she has to answer for that. Don't lecture me about open borders. I'm telling you, I don't vacation overseas or out of the country because I think everybody else sucks. I stay here. I'm not going to lecture you on what you can and can't do with your money, but I am going to tell you, don't lecture me if you're cashing checks from people that execute homosexuals. Stop it. Get off your high horse, read a book without pictures in it, and then come back and we'll have a grown-up conversation. But I'm tired of people like Elvis Duran and Katy Perry who go out and parade this notion that if we would just all hug each other and kiss each other on the cheek and coexist, we would be fine. And to godforsaken idea of some good came out of this. What's the good? What's the good? Did you know that good actually came out of waterboarding people? Are you aware of that? That when we caught Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, we waterboarded that guy and he sang like a bird. And we stopped a terrorist attack, by the way, because we waterboarded him that was going to simultaneously blow up airliners over the Atlantic Ocean. That is good coming out of bad. A bad thing happened. We went and found the bad guy that did it. We did what it took to get the information out of him, and then we stopped innocent people from dying. What is the good that has come out of Katy Perry saying open the borders? What is the good that's come out of the Manchester bombing? What's the good? Because there will be no good if people like Elvis and Katy get their way. There will be no good because they want us to let everybody alone. Let them live the way they want to live. Stop being in any way judgmental of this quote-unquote religion they worship.
Let's be real for a second. We're talking about a guy that wears frilly shirts and hangs out with a bunch of girls that are probably more than half his age.
Sure.
Who's probably so out of touch with reality, he really has no idea what he's talking about. He's just saying things just to say them.
Yeah, it's good to see some good coming out of bad. And these are people, by the way. Elvis Duran.
He's probably sitting there going, well, how do I wrap this up? How do I put a positive
Very
spin
well
on
could
this
have been.
so we can just go, all right, guys, let's take it to the house.
And I'll tell you this, to his credit, to Elvis's credit, and again, I don't know the guy, but to his credit, if he wants to keep his job, if he wants to keep whatever job he's got, especially being in terrestrial radio, God forbid, don't step on any toes because you will lose it like that, because that's a fading industry. If he wants to keep his job, he placates whatever emotion she had at the time. And he just goes, yep, you're right, you're Katy Perry. Thanks, bye. Yep. That's smart. That's smart.
I think that's what it is.
It infuriates me because it's such a dumb thing to act like open the borders and then to be, it's not all, he wouldn't be involved in this except he happened to be there when she was talking, and then he tried to put a positive spin on what she said. So that's what irritates me. So maybe I'm kind of projecting on him my anger with her, but it is such, these are people who make their living through gossip. If gossip wasn't a thing, Katy Perry's career wouldn't be what it is. Elvis Duran probably wouldn't have a career. The pop culture of the world exists through internal gossip, and rumors have to be spread, and things have to seem bigger and worse than they are, and breakups have to occur, and people have to act dramatic about things. It's all rooted in gossip and backbiting and shallow people. And so when they come to lecture us about the way of the world, I mean, what experience does Katy Perry have with anything of this magnitude ever? You know, that would be the nice thing to know. Were you in some way ever over there and you had to experience what someone like Ayaan Hirsi Ali has experienced? Was that you? No?
I'm gonna go with it, probably not.
It drives me nuts. Now, I do want to end this on a positive note, right?
Here we go, Elvis.
Ariana Grande has offered, according to KDVR.com, to pay for the funerals of the 22 people killed in the Manchester arena following her concert on Monday night. 23-year-old had just finished performing when the bomb went off. She's believed to have spoken to the victims' families to offer condolences and offered to pay for funeral costs. Now, I say this knowing that this young lady has made terrible, terrible, terrible comments about America, not liking Americans in the past. I don't forgive her for that, but I do want to say that's a stand-up move. It's
pretty big.
Actually do something. Where's Katy Perry on this? If Elvis Duran really wanted to be able to say some good has come of this, Katy Perry would announce that she's doing something. This, you know what? Here's another thing. This is the hashtag generation. Katy Perry is part of the hashtag generation. Like the meme we put up at Facebook, if you find us at Felt Recoil Show, you can see the instructions for what to do when there's a terrorist attack. And it's all about make a sad face on your profile, then get a flag overlay honoring the country that was attacked, tell people not to judge a religion, and then do nothing, essentially. And then repeat when the next attack happens. It's so true that's... So Katy Perry wants to just say, well, you know what I'm saying, do this and hug each other, and that's the end of it. No, it's not the end of it. Something must be... Action must be taken. Something must be done. And people like Katy Perry, they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to do that. It's just this psychosis of stupid that I can't wrap my brain around how that kind of stuff. I feel really bad for the people that believe it, but then there's this fine line of not wanting to be the guy that's always the wet blanket at the party, but then you just want to be like, that's just not true. That's not true, and this isn't true, and that's not the way that works, and that's not the way this works. But, all right. Can I just tell you a funny thing about... So what does Katy Perry, eBay, and UPS have in common? I'm going to tell you. They're all stupid.
Didn't see that coming.
I went to the UPS store recently to ship an EOTech optic that I had sold online. Having worked in the gun industry for a while, I've kind of collected some things, and I'm kind of thinning the herd, right? Some extra cash is always nice. Got some things I want, like maybe that DJI Spark. And so if I could thin the herd a little bit, I'm going to thin the herd. So I sell an EOTech, all right? And I go to UPS to ship it. And the lady behind the counter goes, whoa, 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 whoa. What is this? And I was immediately...
None of your damn business.
Well, and so, of course, immediately I was like, man, I should have known better. Should have known better. But I was honest with her. I said, oh, it's what's called a reflex sight for a rifle. And she goes, right. So it's a gun part? I said, no, ma'am. Nope. It's what we call an optic. It's a scope, essentially, if you will. She goes, yeah, I can't ship it. I said, what's that? She goes, yeah, we don't ship those. Corporate policy. I said, corporate policy that you don't ship scopes? She goes, right. I said, I work in a gun store, and we get guns from UPS all the time. We get scopes from UPS all the time. What do you mean you don't ship? Well, no, not out of the stores. Not out of the UPS store, we don't. She said, oh, okay. I had no idea. No idea.
They'll take manufacturers and distributors and retail stores' monies to ship.
Yes.
But not yours.
Not mine.
At a UPS store. So
I said to her, let me ask you something. Do you ship rope? And she just blankly stared at me. I said, because, people will weave rope together and make rifle slings. So maybe you guys should stop shipping rope.
I thought you were going to tell her people make nooses out of them.
Right. How do you think Chris Cornell's family feels about you shipping rope right now?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Maybe it was a belt. I don't know, to be fair. I know I'm a horrible person. Suicide's not a funny thing. But quite frankly, I have trouble grieving for people that kill themselves. Maybe because I don't understand it. My grandmother killed herself. I get it. It's a nasty, ugly thing. But I don't understand the whole, what a wonderful person we've lost. Oh, gone too soon. Tell him that. You should have told him that 2 weeks ago, and he wouldn't have been gone too soon. It's suicide to me, and I welcome someone explaining to me why I'm wrong. Suicide is one of the most selfish things I can possibly imagine, especially that guy was a father of 2 young girls that now don't have a dad because of their dad. You'd have to explain to me why that's okay. All right. Anyway, so I get in this conversation with a lady at UPS, and I just go, okay, all right. Well, honest to God, I leave. I box it up. And I go back the next day and they ship it, no problem. Because I'm like, but it would have just been in a box. They just weighed it and they wouldn't have cared.
You just found a different associate.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple guys were working that day. So then, here's the great part. Then I'm on eBay this week, and again, it's in the herd, and I had another one, right? So I've got a magnified optic this time, and it fits on an AR platform, and I've got it in the burst pepper mount. And so I put it on eBay, and I say pepper mount's included, so is the throw lever, I put it's great on an AR. It'll mount right to your AR. So I post it, and again, there's thousands of these listed on eBay. I post it, and within about an hour, I get an email that it's been removed. And you're not allowed to post that. And I go, should have known better. What was I thinking? I should have known better. So legitimately, I waited 2 days and went and put it back on eBay, but left out the part about it'll mount right to your AR. No problem. I've already got a couple of bids, a couple dozen people watching it, waiting to see what happens. And it's like, you guys are so bogged down in your own stupidity in this idea of we'll stand on principle, but we actually have no idea how to apply that principle. We don't know. We're just doing it because showing that we care, in quotation marks, about keeping people safe is better than actually doing work to keep people safe. That makes the
Katy Perry fans of the world happy.
So happy. For what? Wait, but because they're morons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much where I was going.
I gotcha. Can you? Well, all right. I want to say this. Kudos to Tack Soup. I'm not really sure what happened. If you don't follow Tack Soup, you should go to Instagram and follow Tack Soup. Essentially, what these guys do, maybe one guy, I don't really know, but essentially what Tack Soup does is mock anything and everything. All right. I'm a massive Travis Haley fan. Patty and I took one of his classes together. Lo and behold, we're both wearing Dragonfly shirts tonight, which is kind of weird. Maybe half gay. Maybe not.
So it depends on if you like Travis Haley or not. I don't know.
Yeah. So they picked on Travis's G-code holster, the Incog, a couple weeks ago. And it was funny because there are some flaws to that. It's not a perfect design. It shifts a little bit too easily, blah, blah, blah. So they kind of make fun. A lot of people get really hurt feelings over what happens at Tack Soup. And this past week? Do you have it? Are you pulling it up?
I'm looking.
No? Okay. This past week, lo and behold, the editor of Recoil magazine got involved and was apparently none too happy about Tack Soup kind of picking on. There was an email that went out about how you could win some prizes. Does that sound right?
It was the free AR, the free Saint, right?
Let's see here. Get this $8.99 AR-15 Saint free. And I didn't really understand what the joke was. And Tack Soup says, this came in an email via the Enthusiast Network mailer, but Recoil boss and his staff definitely didn't create it. That said, I guess copywriting is a lost art. So do you get the joke to that? Because I really did, and I was like, I don't really know what's going on here.
And I followed Tack Soup pretty closely because I think it's hilarious because they literally don't care what anybody thinks. And I think they're really picking on the industry as a whole, especially the guys that take themselves super seriously.
Oh, yeah.
The guys that come in the gun store that are wearing the 511 pants and the Solomon shoes. And, they've got their contractor cap on with their patches all over it. And their Molon Labe tattoo across their forearm.
Like the guy that I dealt with earlier today who matches almost that exact description but didn't know how to reset his trigger.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, not specifically, but yes.
But a little bit.
But Tack Soup, I think, are doing the world a great service in that they're just telling everybody, just stop taking yourself so damn seriously. Mm-hmm. Calm down a little bit and lighten up, have a little bit of fun. And I think that's what's so brilliant about everything that they post. I mean, I haven't seen one thing on there that I don't, to some degree, not agree with. I mean, it's just
right.
It all makes sense.
Well,
and nobody's safe. They pissed off Agency Arms so bad they blocked them. I mean, awesome. And who knows who else has blocked them at this point? And probably a lot of companies.
And doesn't that totally prove your point?
Yeah, but what does that tell you about Agency?
Take themselves too seriously.
They probably all have moron labe tattoos.
I was showing, and I won't divert too far, but I was showing the video the other night at work of Travis Haley and Fook Long doing the dynamic tactical reload of the AK. And the guy I was showing it to at work who loves his AKs, because I haven't dealt with AKs a lot. So when we have downtime at work lately, I'll go over, grab an AK and a magazine, and I'm working on just being able to get a mag into an AK in any sort of acceptable time frame. It's not happening, just for the record. But it's kind of
probably because you're a God-fearing capitalist.
That's right. Thank you. Slow down. So Travis Haley is really good with the AK. And so there's this video, if you're not familiar, where Travis is basically being as absurd as possible about how to reload your AK. And he does the whole, I always keep a loaded mag in my back right pocket. And he uses that to drop the current mag, but then he throws his loaded mag on the ground. He's like, I'm just going to drop that tool right here because I don't need it anymore. And he just keeps moving. Well, the guy I'm showing it to is just standing there stunned. But I had said like 3 or 4 times, this is a joke, this is a joke, this is a joke. Just remember, this is a joke. And he goes, this can't be real. I'm like, no, it's not real. I just told you it was a joke. I've told you like 4 times this is a joke. But we were having such a good laugh. But that's what kind of is fun about Travis Haley is he doesn't take himself too seriously. It's like, yes, we can go out and we can train. And yes, we can recognize the gravity of the business we're dealing in. But we don't have to act like it's the end-all be-all because someone cracks a joke at our expense. We can at least laugh about it. So TaxSoup posted this. I was a little lost, but then Recoil Boss jumps in. He's like, this has nothing to do with me, essentially, with a lot of vulgarity. I was surprised that his name is Recoil Boss, but then he's like swearing like a drunken sailor on here. And so TaxSoup says, not totally true. It has something to do with you. It went out. It did go out to subscribers via the Enthusiast Network delivery email. So this is definitely like inside baseball stuff that none of us are going to understand. The whole point here is then this fight ensues, and Recoil Boss is like, right, and blah, 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 blah. And TaxSoup's like, what's your problem? My whole point is, this was my favorite. They said to Recoil Boss, very salty today. So it's like, the whole point I'm making here is, I love TaxSoup for being the people or person willing to just be them in the industry and not worry so much about what everyone else is thinking and not care if a couple of feathers get ruffled and everybody's, overly upset over something that doesn't deserve. I want to get
these guys on the show, or guy, if it's not multiple people.
Would love to. Yeah, we tried to coordinate it. NRA schedules just kind of didn't work out. They were through Facebook. They were very responsive to a couple messages, and yeah, man, let's sit out. We wanted to do drinks with TaxSoup and just sit down with whatever drink they wanted and just unleash them. It'd be our first. Seems to me, I don't know, it'd probably be our first explicit program.
Probably.
Largely us staying quiet and listening and laughing and having a good time. But love TaxSoup. If you're not following them, you should be. So go find them and prepare for your feelings to be hurt a little bit, okay? The T-Rex Arms guy they pick on all the time. T-Rex.
Yep. It's T-Rex Arms.
Okay, yeah. They pick on him all the time, but he gets it, and he has fun with it. So that says something. I do want to loop back real quick. I'll remind you to watch for our SIG X5 video coming on Sunday. That'll be up Sunday afternoon. We'll be out shooting it Saturday night. I'll put it together Sunday morning. You can find it on YouTube. Find us, Felt Recoil Show on YouTube, and give us a subscribe. Click that little bell icon, and you'll get notified when we upload new material. But I do want to say that we reached out to, what was the Tennessee congressman's name? I'm sorry, I can't remember. Anyway, we reached out to the gentleman in Tennessee, the state senator who introduced the sanctuary state to suppressors bill, and asked him to come on. Never heard back. That's fine. I'm sure he's taking care of a cul-de-sac somewhere in Tennessee right now, just making sure everything's straight. But we tried.
I did do a little bit of homework on that.
Lay it on me.
And what I found out was that ownership of suppressors in Tennessee was in fact illegal.
Interesting.
So that was the basis of a couple different resources I found online. Basically just said You couldn't own them before. That's the bottom line.
I thought you found a source that said it had been legal, though. What am I missing?
That was the American Suppressor Association.
Liars.
Or American Silencer Association,
Oh.
excuse me.
That's why, yep.
Right. And I think that they had already updated their webpage by the time I was looking at it
Okay.
to say that they were, in fact, legal.
Isn't that weird to think about the fact that you would just assume that Tennessee would be cool with like guns and suppressors and things of that
It's
nature?
a patron state of shooting stuff.
They're apparently not at all.
I got something else, though,
Lay it on me.
to follow up on a previous conversation. So I had a conversation with my mom
Oh, yes.
about your doctor's office.
What do they
questions.
tell the doctor?
And my mom said, you ready for this? She said that when the nurse leaves, she or he will tell the doctor nothing. They do not talk.
What?
They don't talk. The nurse will take notes, and sometimes the doctor will read them, but usually not. Almost never reads them beforehand. Might read them while he's sitting in front of you.
Really? That is funny. I told you my general practitioner didn't know I had cancer. Like, legit.
Yeah, he definitely didn't read it.
It was like months after I'd been through radiation, and he was like, "Whoa, you had cancer?" I was like, "Yes, you found it, you weirdo." So I'm not surprised. That's all I'm saying is A, I'm not surprised, but B, that really does provide me some ammunition. So next time I'm in there, I just be like, "Listen,
You
Hussy,
just say some weird stuff.
you stop
man.
talking.
Just start saying all kinds of crazy stuff.
Get me the man that can make decisions."
I tried to get my mom to come on the show. She didn't think that was a good idea.
I will next time confess.
I can't decide if she doesn't like me or you.
I think I could fill you in. I might confess something next time to the nurse that I need her to tell the doctor.
Like that you killed somebody, or
I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I gotta come up with
something good but not illegal.
right. Just really
Just
plant
to
the
see-
bait, man.
just to see if-
Just plant it.
If she goes out there and tells everybody, like anybody that's in the hallway,
It's weird.
the guy in exam room C is nuts.
Everyone and everything I've touched recently breaks out in these hives, and they kind of turn
They
into
look like Skittles.
like these small. I just make it as gross as possible. That really is frustrating though, because it's very similar to DMV experiences where you go to that person that when you initially walk in, they're like, "What can I help with?" You're like, "Yeah, I just need to renew my tag. Fill this paper out." And you're like, "Okay." And I don't know why this person's been smoking for 40 years and had a tracheotomy, but anyway, they have. And so then you end up with the other guy, and you're like, "Hey, I need to renew my tag," and they're like, "Oh, you need to fill this paperwork out." "Yeah, I did. Here it is." No, there's more paperwork. "What are you here for?" "Filling out a tag." "Ah, you're in the wrong line." It's like, wait, what? That person told me to be here. Can't you guys talk to each other and then fill me in later? Yeah, anyway. Well, thanks for getting an answer. Thanks, Mom Hulon, for providing an answer. I might start calling your mom Mom Hulon because I bet it really annoys her.
It does. She doesn't like that.
What will she do when she realizes she has a successful child now?
Wait a minute.
You know what I do want to do, by the way? I'm going to throw this out there because if I do it now and it's recorded, you'll be held to it. Don't you have a brother that played rugby or plays rugby?
I don't know if he still does.
But he did.
He did, yeah.
You think he would call in and just explain the rules to me? Because I was
Yeah.
watching some rugby the other day and it looked awesome, but I had no clue what was happening.
Yeah, he probably will, actually.
All right.
He'd probably enjoy that.
We need to make
he
that
likes
happen.
talking about it.
All right.
He liked talking to me about it a lot, and I never knew what he was talking about. I will say, the first time I ever saw him play, he was still in high school, and I went to a game, and this guy kind of took a cheap shot on him.
And then you found him later.
And no, I didn't need to. 'Cause Joey took care of him. So the guy took a cheap shot, and there's only one ref on the field. So
Oh, really?
So if the ref's
that
backs,
normal?
Yeah, that's, I think
okay.
that's how it works. Don't quote me on it, but at least I only remember seeing one. So if that guy's back is to you, it's free game. So it's one of those like, okay, yeah, all right, you can take a cheap shot. I'll remember that. And next time that guy in the zebra suit is looking the other way, it's me and you. And literally, Joey punched that guy in the back of the head as hard as he could. Like I don't think I've ever even seen anybody get punched in the back of the head until that day.
Right?
And he was probably like 16, 17, but he's a a man child. I mean, he's huge.
Big
He's
old
way
dude,
bigger
huh?
than me.
Yeah.
And he just hauled off and just clocked this dude, punched him right in the back of his head. I was like, oh, God. I killed him.
Rugby's basically the only sport where you feel like you got to be a real man's man to play that sport. And I know what you're thinking. Whoa, hockey. But hockey guys are padded up pretty good, man.
Yeah.
They got big, thick gloves, and I'm not taking anything away from them. I wouldn't fight a hockey team. I've actually seen it happen in bars in Colombia. Those are tough dudes. But in rugby...
Hockey's a little faster, too, because you're on skates.
Sure.
But I don't want... So my brother's a big boy. I don't want him barreling down on me full speed.
No pads.
No pads.
These guys
That's
are
not
wearing
gonna
no
be a good day.
pads. They're just using their heads as batting rams, like right into each other. It's the strangest. It's like a man, man, what's the way to say this? It's like a train wreck made of men, but you can't stop watching, but they're running into each other and they're like bleeding everywhere. And it's an organized sport. It's not like MMA fighting where it's like, why do you guys like want to beat each other to death? But this is like, no, I'm going to get the ball through the goal. I don't know, whatever it's called. I'm going to do this. But in the meantime, I'm going to be pummeled.
Intense though, women's rugby. You should watch that.
There is such a thing?
Yeah, and it's serious.
Is that? Do they just run around like fighting over the bread and meat and cheese to make a sandwich?
I can't wait until a women's rugby team walks into where you work
just
and
punches
beat
me in the
crap
face.
out of you.
It would be so easy to do because I'm such a wimp. That's why I'm
I
so
know.
loudmouthed. All right, listen, please find us at feltrecoilshow.com, and we're on all the socials. You can find us with Felt Recoil Show. Just type in your search bar anywhere you end up. Thanks for hanging out. Please tell somebody else and bring them with you next time. We'll see you then with more Felt Recoil Podcast.